Welcome to Tune In to Wellness Today. My name is LisaMarie Tersigni, the host of Tune In to Wellness Today and the founder and owner of Inspiring Wellness Solutions, a health and wellness company. Tune In to Wellness Today is designed to bring to you, our audience, a myriad of health and wellness services, products, and modalities. My goal is to be an integral source in the community of bringing health and wellness and natural means to you. Today I have three guests. Our first guest is Barbra Gilman. Barbra is a certified access consciousness facilitator, a transformational specialist, as well as the founder of a company called Success Strategies for Life. In addition to that, Barbra has a wealth of experience and knowledge in the health and wellness field. Welcome, Barbra.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you. So great to have you here today.
And thank you for being the contribution of sharing all this incredible information that you do with our community.
You are so very, very welcome.
Yeah.
Transformational specialist. So you're helping people transform, I'm assuming for the betterment of themselves in the community.
Absolutely hope so.
Great.
I choose to know.
Tell me, please, what is a transformational specialist? What does that mean?
Well, in the olden days, it was a therapist who was working in the field of energy and consciousness. My whole life, my interest, even as a child, and I actually have been doing this since I was a child without a label, was just always being interested in what makes people who they are. And then when you know who they are or who they show up as, what's possible in helping them to be more of who they be. So we don't show up like we're living in high school when we're, adults.
Okay. So we're not acting like 18 when we're 54.
Exactly, or maybe 12 or 13.
Now you're talking transforming, you brought up the word energy, so we're not talking necessarily about cognitive transformation as much as at a cellular energy level, is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you speak to that? How do you facilitate that?
Well, years ago, most of the work I was doing was more under the heading of therapy, but it was with consciousness and metaphysical principles.
Okay.
And that expanded what was possible for the people because it gave them another story about what reality was. Mm-hmm. As I say, we live on a planet where unfortunately the truth of how our reality is created has really been kept from us. And so I was blessed to have that information since I was a teenager, and that's the way that I did my therapy. And yet, even with that, I knew that there was more. Mm-hmm. Even as a child, I always said I knew that whatever they were telling us was true about this reality was not.
Okay.
And so I have been seeking my whole life, what is that extra piece that would help one to transform my life and then to use that as an invitation for others to what could be possible when you're living from consciousness.
That is fabulous. Now, so a traditional therapy model is taking a look at your family, your dynamics growing up, but you're going beyond that.
Yes.
To who we are now and what we can be, and not based necessarily on some of those traditional
Absolutely, based on one thing, energy.
Energy.
So as I say, in the old paradigm, it was a cognitive, you're working at looking at what your mother did and she put you in a bread box when you were 2 years old and you have to get over that and then how to get over that. And it becomes this struggle and this just slow process. Like taking an ox cart to California.
Right.
I'd rather take a jet plane.
You and me both. Tell me about access consciousness then. How does that work and how do you facilitate that? Right.
And so because I have always been in the question to the universe, what else is possible here? I know there's something else. I have taken just about every modality that has ever come along having to do with healing, consciousness, you name it, I probably did it. And about 3 years ago, I was in a place in my life where I knew there was something and I hadn't found it yet. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I was asking and it came in, and it's access consciousness. Access has been around for over 25 years. It's being taught in almost 50 countries. It's the most amazing body of work that I have found and facilitated. I'm in awe of it, actually, and I can't even explain how so much of it works. However, they're tools and processes, body processes, that help helps anyone who's looking to really change. Not just say, oh, I want to change, I want more consciousness, I want a better life, I want to be a contribution to the
We have
world,
to
I
do
want
the
more
work.
money.
To do the work,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
There's, I call it play.
Okay.
Because the beautiful thing is, even though you look at this body and it is how old it is, underneath is an 8-year-old child who just loves to play and always knew that through playing we actually could accomplish more.
Absolutely.
And when I say playing, I mean being in a place of play and joy and ease. And not the struggle and trauma drama.
Versus being forced into a box to try to learn something, which we tend to resist, but in playing it comes naturally.
Exactly.
If you would give me 2 or 3 benefits that you have seen, not only with yourself, but with some of your clients.
Absolutely. One, it's changed my entire life. It's about stepping into the place where we hold energy. Okay, you could call it points of views, belief systems that have been stuck, okay, literally within our body and our being for God knows how long, okay? So something happens at some point in time, your mother tells you you're not good enough or you're a bad girl or whatever, and it solidifies energetically. So in this new paradigm that we're living in, the quickest way to change anything in one's life, body or being, is by changing the energy.
Okay.
So when you get to the energy and you allow it to be, we call destroy and uncreated. You could call it anything you want. Let go of.
Let go of
okay?
it. Uh-huh.
It's like going to the default settings of your computer. You want to do something on your computer. You don't know how to do it. It's so frustrating. But how do you find it? This system is the most amazing thing in the most simplest way, that it will bring you right to what we call the point of creation, where the energy was solidified in whatever time period. And that could be a big thing. We don't have to go into.
I do have may I ask you a question about
Absolutely.
that? Before we wrap up, is when we speak about time, you're talking about abolishing it, really, the energy in one sense, right?
Well,
abolishing that non-belief that was a belief, if that's
yes, well, just getting the energy and just whatever you want to call it, deleting. Let's say we're deleting it from your computer file.
Right.
And when you do that, it gives you a whole new possibility in your life.
Great.
So if you take away the wrongness that you felt all your life, and now there is no wrongness, what would you show up as?
Right. That's
And so
wonderful.
it's not so much like taking the fear and going through the fear. What if there was no fear?
Right. And I surmise, and I could be totally off base, but were we speaking about other lifetimes as well?
Yes.
If people believe in
If
past
people-
lives,
yes.
it's taking a look and clearing that negative energy that you brought from that life. That's what I thought.
Absolutely.
That
And
is-
you don't have to know what it is or where it is. And so we have a couple of different ways of doing it. One is called the bars. It's 32 points on the head. It's like an hour session. And in that session, you have the possibility, and it's always your choosing, because choice is the number one tool in the universe, what you're willing to let go of. So this will open a door to that energy. And again, you don't have to know what it is or where it is. The door just opens. And now you have the choice, at some level, of what's going to be let go of. A teaspoon, a tablespoon, 5 bucket loaders, whatever, or all of it.
Whatever you're ready for at that point in time.
Exactly.
Because that can change as time goes on. And you might not be
Absolutely.
ready to let go of
Yes.
certain beliefs.
And so if you have a few sessions, okay, and the whole idea is I do a class where we actually teach people how to do this on each other. So like you come with your friend and you learn how to do it. And now every week you're going to do this hour, or whenever you're choosing, you do the session, and little by little your life just starts to change, and there's a greater space that's now available to you that was never available to you before. So now you can have choices that you wouldn't have chosen.
Fill it up with what you want to fill your
Exactly.
life with. One question, and then we have to wrap.
Okay.
What is the biggest change that has occurred in your life?
The biggest change that occurred in my life
Through Access Consciousness.
Through Access, there was always a part of me that knew, I had my 15 minutes of fame. I wrote my book. I worked with Neil Donald Walsh and some of the big people in the spiritual world. But even with that, I knew there was a part of me that just had so much more power and potency that I wouldn't go near. Okay? It was sort of hid behind my shy little girl when I was that big. And Access just opened up a space where now in my life, it's not so much where I'm focusing on my life, I'm focusing on what would be possible if I show up being the greatness that I be, the difference that I truly be, and by being that, to change the world.
So you're a lot happier today than you've ever been?
Happier, yes, but more importantly, there's a level of peace within me that was never there before.
Barbara, thank you so very much for doing this work. It's tremendous. If you'd like more information about Barbara and the work she does, you can reach her at barbara@barbaragilman.com or barbaragilman.com. Thank you so very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Our second guest today is Jennifer Zhao from Organiworks. She's the founder and owner of Organiworks. It is a natural wellness skincare product company. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. I understand that you have a BS in what's called material science.
Material science.
And I do not mean to show my ignorance, and I might be showing it in a moment, but it used to be called material engineering?
Yes. It's basically a mix between chemistry and physics. And
So the characteristic of materials, is that?
Yes.
Is okay.
So anywhere from, this table to this chair or, the carpet, you figure out what is the material property that is needed in order to make that product what it is.
Which we're going to find out in a few moments that degree is what has probably helped you to be very successful with Organiworks.
Sure.
So tell me about your products. I understand they're natural and organic.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means it doesn't have any toxins in them. I do the research in order to determine what ingredients might be bad for you.
Okay.
I started the business a couple years ago when I had my first baby. So that was when I started really understanding and reading the labels and, a lot of names that I can't pronounce. Then I just really do the research and look up what they are. So I was actually very surprised that some of them are pretty scary and you don't really want them on your body. So that was when I kind of ventured into this world.
Oh, that is great. The people are becoming more conscious in what they're putting in their mouth and how that impacts your body and your health. That's what I do for a living, as you know, is teaching nutrition, and I'm a counselor and a coach. But what I think a lot of people are not aware of is our skin is our largest organ.
Absolutely.
And so what we're putting on our skin, the amount of what we're putting on our skin can be very toxic to our health. So not only what we're consuming through our mouth, but what we're consuming. So and I think I read a study, not that I think I read a study, but I read a study recently that said about a third of skincare products that we put on our bodies have at least one toxin that is related to cancer.
That's probably very conservative. If you look at all the products that as women, we put on our bodies, like you start with the cleanser to the hair stuff to the nail stuff to the makeup to everything, I think they count up, it's like over 300 chemicals, individual chemicals that you put on every single day. So if you look at one product that might have 10 to 20 ingredients in there, if you add up all the different products that you use, the shampoo, the deodorant, that just adds up and it's a big list.
Wow. So my understanding is Organiworks does some extensive testing on every single product for safety and for its efficacy. Can you talk a little bit about what that testing is like and what you do?
Sure. Well, the first level of screening is just really looking at the ingredient list. So right now it's like basically look at brands that are out there, and they usually publish the ingredient list. If they don't publish the ingredient list, that's a red flag already. That means they're not proud to display their ingredients. Everybody's required to have ingredients on the bottle, but not all companies list it on their website. So if there's not on their website and I request it and they're kind of hesitant about it, say, well, what are you hiding? And then if I do get the ingredient list, then usually, I go through and there's a blacklist of ingredients that I absolutely don't allow.
Okay.
So most companies, I would say like 95% of companies, even the ones that they say they're natural, will fail that first test. So it's pretty scary. Like if you just walk into a Whole Foods or, food market, usually you go to the natural skin aisle and you expect it to be natural. But usually there's at least one or two in there that's not too
good for
Very
you.
interesting. I know with our food line in the United States that there are no guidelines for what you can put. You can put natural on food without any specific guidelines. So
That's
it
right.
sounds like it's the same with the skincare industry.
It is the same.
So listening to your extensive checking list and checking ingredients, that really is probably a differential between a lot of other natural skincare companies, right?
There's
Products.
a lot of companies who make their own product and they push their own product, and there's companies like the food co-ops, where they conglomerate and have a bunch of products for sale. Where Organiworks stands is we only focus on the skincare and the personal care, and we're slowly moving into kind of the household cleaning, and because all that's very important as well.
Yes.
But the key difference is that we're an independent source. So when you come to Organiworks, we're not subsidized by any company. We're completely unbiased. So we look at every company, whether you're a big company or a small company, we have the same standards. So if you meet the standards, great. Then the next step is we take a product, we do a sample. I personally try it, if I love it or not, and then I have human, willing volunteers who would like to try them. So then that's where the efficacy comes in.
That is fabulous that you do that much extensive work. What are a couple of the benefits of your products that might be a differentials beyond the testing, which is very important? Give me a couple other benefits, please.
So the fact that they're natural, a lot of times you don't feel like you're getting your money's worth because you might be paying double the money for an organic product. Almost all of our products are between like $10 to $20 range. So they are natural, but they are also very affordable for the actual like the
great.
average family. It's not like you're gonna get broke on your bank because you're choosing to use healthy products. There's definitely a benefit there, and because of the concentration and the quality of the products that we use, or the ones that we carry, is that they're gonna last much longer compared to conventional products. They're designed in order to have you use them for every day. They're not luxury products, or you use once in a while, but they're meant to work like those. Or the Organiworks come from is supposed to work.
What are some of the products you sell?
I have almost everything. So anything from skincare to shampoo and conditioner. We now have a deodorant. We have nail polish and nail polish remover that is healthy. We have real seawool sponges that are so much luxurious and better than the plastic ones that you have. But anything, and then we have sunscreen, lip balm. We're venturing into the cleaning products like the bathroom cleaners and the hand soaps, hand sanitizers.
I was going to ask you, so 2014 January is here. What new services or products are you having rolling out in 2014?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm very excited about is cosmetics, because as women, we use a lot of makeup, some of them
Thank
more
God for
less
natural
than
makeup.
others, but it's one of the big areas where it's the greatest need, because there is just so little out there that's good. One of the things that I'm doing a little bit last year and starting more this year is at workshops where we're going to be mixing your own mineral makeup. So I provide all the materials, and then we do a party, and then we just make your own colors, because it's so much easier to match your own skin tone when you do that, rather than just purchasing, off the shelf to something that's close to you. So that's something I'm very excited about.
Oh, that is very exciting. Makeup parties.
Yes,
All right.
yeah,
That is
very
great.
fun.
I really appreciate you. Has to be very challenging. You're balancing a toddler son,
Yep.
a husband, a home, in this career. And so I thank you for putting the time and effort into this and offering all of us Organiworks. That is
Thank
so
you for
great.
the opportunity. I think just getting the message out there, because there's so many people who are looking for these kind of products, and I'm glad that I could offer somewhere for them to turn to.
Thank you, Jennifer. So natural skincare, natural health products, natural makeup, Organiworks. If you'd like to speak with Jen, you can reach her at jen@organiworks.net or organiworks.net. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you here. Hello, our third guest today is Carolyn Coogan from Natural Awakenings Magazine. Natural Awakenings Magazine is the newest healthy living publication in the Capital District. It boasts many modalities and services: fitness and health, sustainable living, creativity, and a whole host of healthy, natural ways for us to be well. The publisher for Natural Awakenings in the Albany area is Carolyn Coogan. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Did I miss anything under that title of all the things that you have in your magazine?
The only other thing would maybe be the natural pet section that we have as well.
I forgot you had a natural
too.
pet
Yeah.
section. That's great. Now, Carolyn, I'm going to ask you a personal question. I hope you
Okay,
do not mind. You worked for a business for many years, receiving a paycheck, a steady paycheck, and health benefits, and you stepped out of that to start Natural Awakenings in this area.
I did.
That's scary. Tell me why you did that. What drew you to Natural Awakenings?
Sure. Well, it actually wasn't the first time, and I did have a business previously in the Midwest. I had a gift shop for several years. And that's actually what led me to looking for something new to do, because at the time that I did have my business, I felt very fulfilled and I felt like I was feeding the community and, on every level. And I was looking for something that would speak to that strength and that desire for meaning. And about 1.5 years ago, I was downstate at an event that happened to be sponsored by the magazine, because we are published in over 90 cities now in the United States. It's a national magazine, but this is our local edition. And so I was at an event that was sponsored by the local edition there, and it just, it was one of those things that it fell in my lap. It was the right time. I've always been a proponent of the mind-body-spirit connection and natural health alternatives, and being a publisher really combines everything I've ever done as far as my past business experience and my personality and my desire, like I said, to live in the manner that I was when I had my previous business, which, as being a business owner, there's something about living what you believe and feeling like you're inspiring people through wellness, and I'm doing the same thing in that way. I love it. It's really been great.
It's a fabulous feeling. It really is. You're absolutely right. There are other wellness magazines and publications in the Capital District for sure.
Yeah.
What makes Natural Awakenings different or stand out from those other publications?
Sure. Well, being a part of a family of publishers is huge. We get content supplied every month from our national office in Naples, Florida. So we have access to people. We had Eckhart Tolle in our November issue. Barbara earlier mentioned Neil Donald Walsh. We've had him in our magazine, Louise Hay, a lot of Hay House authors. So we have this national content that it's not like I could call up Dr. Oz and get him on the phone for my magazine, but we have had him on the cover. So, that it does set us apart definitely from some of the other local publications. What we do too is we take that national content and we infuse it with our local content, which is key. We have the calendar of events that people, that's actually why a lot of people pick up the magazine every month. Oh, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And it's great that this magazine is really connecting people together to each other to find like-minded people, and also to the businesses that advertise in it. So we have the calendar of events, we have spotlight articles. We use our editorial content to feature our advertisers. They are the ones that are supporting us. This is a free publication, by the way. So the revenue does come in from the advertisers. So we have the spotlight articles, and then we have news briefs, which are time-sensitive things about either events that are happening, or a new service, or maybe a doctor has brought on a new person to his office, or something like that. So we'd infuse the content with our local content.
I love that you say, you're connecting the community to the providers, which is what Tune Into Wellness is doing as well. This TV show is to bring to the community providers who have health and wellness, natural health and wellness services. So I love the synergy between what you're doing, what I'm doing, and educating the community as a whole. I also know personally, because I do advertise in Natural Awakenings, and I do know that people have been reaching out tremendously and asking all kinds of questions, and I'm just one provider, so you can imagine that that's happening to every provider that advertises. So people are finding ways to be well, from a natural standpoint from this magazine?
It's really been amazing, and just this past week, because as a publisher, of course, that weighs on my mind, and I want my advertisers to be successful, and so I really want to get results for everybody. And even just this past week, I was at a small yoga studio in Cohoes, and I'll mention it. It's In Harmony Yoga, and they're in a small community, and they came on board, and I was wondering, I hope we're getting out to enough people for them, because we do have distribution all the way up to Saratoga. But is somebody going to drive from Saratoga down to Cohoes, for a yoga class? So everybody is taking a chance and figuring out what works, and they are having amazing results. They've used the calendar. They have a couple workshops. They had a special display ad rolling out their new sessions starting in January, and they were thrilled. And I love hearing that. So and that's just one success story, but that's why we do it, is to to connect the community with the businesses that can.
Where can
change
people find this magazine?
Oh, we are all over. We have close to 400 distribution locations now. We are in most of the YMCAs. We're in the libraries. We are, of course, in Honest Weight Food Co-op and Niskayuna Co-op. Those are two very large distribution points for us. Coffee shops, diners. We're in a lot of restaurants, which is a good place. Of course, all of our practitioners carry it in their offices, and we're in other places, like I'm in a consignment shop, a bowling alley. I mean, I don't have the list in my head at this moment, but we're really all over.
But for the general public that's listening to this, they know they can go almost anywhere
Yep.
and find Natural Awakenings. And again, it's a free publication. And tell me some of the practitioners that are in, not the names of the companies, but the types of practitioners the audience might be able to find.
Sure. Well, we have everything from integrative practitioners doing medical work to chiropractic work. We do have some energy healers. We have grocery stores like the co-ops that I mentioned, and other grocery stores that are carrying local produce. We have yoga studios. We have several. We have massage therapists. I'm sure I'm forgetting more, but
And many modalities, a lot of energy,
Yep.
dance.
We do. We have dance as
And
well.
fitness you offer right through this
Absolutely.
magazine as
Yep.
well, right?
Yep.
So, well, great. Give me one more major benefit that the audience might be able to find by picking up that magazine.
Well, I don't know if I could pinpoint it to one thing, but I'll just say that it is definitely inspiring, and that's one thing that drew me to it initially, was the inspirational content. And even if you're kind of on the precipice of making some changes and you're considering it, it's a nice way to ease into it and consider that and reach out to the right people. It doesn't have to happen all at once. It doesn't have to be like all of a sudden I'm going to go vegan and exercise every day and you cut out all the chemicals from my house and everything. It can be a natural, no pun intended, it can be a nice slow progression, learning each month about things. So
What I love about it, the most that I love about it, it's fairly informative, as you said, national and local content. But as Barbara said a few moments ago, people can read about all the different service providers, and something is going to resonate with them about that provider, about that service, and that's what's going to have them call you. It's connecting to that person, and you give them so many opportunities and offerings. So I know owning a business can be very daunting. Starting your own business and running it can be a very daunting task. So I want to thank you very much for taking on this task. Really very glad to have Natural Awakenings and to have you. Thank you, Carolyn, for being on our show today.
Oh, thank you.
If you'd like more information about Natural Awakenings or Carolyn Coogan, you can reach her at carolyn@albanyawakenings.com or www.albanyawakenings.com. We thank you for being here today, listening to Tune Into Wellness. We thank you for participating, and we do hope that you found our guests to be informative and inspirational. I do encourage you to reach out to each and every one of them with any questions that you might have, or to reach out to me, LisaMarie, at inspiringwellnesssolutions.com. We will see you again in a few weeks with 3 new guests. Until then, be well, be happy, and be alive. Bye-bye now.